Hey there, welcome into another edition of Locked On Astros. I'm Htown Wheelhouse, and today we'll talk about the rise and the fall of some prospects in the Astros top 30, according to MLB Pipeline. Talk more about Ronel Blanco and his place on this team, and what has impressed Joe Espada about Jose Abreu and where he's at. Let's get going on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett Htown Wheelhouse Chancey.
Hey there, and welcome into another edition of Locked On Astros. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. I'm flying solo tonight. Look, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is a great app to use, and I would say simply do this. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. So look, you can find me at Htown Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on X. I mean, pretty much everywhere, anywhere you get any kind of social media outlet, you can find us there. We have a Discord. We don't really use it much, to be quite honest, but we've got other things coming out that hopefully we'll be rolling out with y'all in this season to get better connected with us. And look, we are closer and closer to the day of opening day versus the Yankees. Of course, everybody's wanting a Garrett Cole versus Justin Verlander duo or match, and it looks like we're going to get Framber Valdez and Justin Verlander. So everyone that is in, thank y'all for tuning in. Mr. Rashad, welcome in. Daniel Berry Sports, welcome in. Astro Wolf Craig and Chris Reyes, what it do? How y'all doing? Glad y'all stopped by. And greetings from California. Look at this. I love this, from the West Coast Astros fans, from coast to coast, with the show with the most. That's right, Locked On Astros. So, hey, we got some interesting things to talk about, and Mr. Steve made it in. I'm going to try to get everybody mentioned tonight. Mr. Steve made it in, and one of the things I want to talk to y'all about is the top 30 prospects in the Astros system. We all know that the Astros farm system has really kind of taken a hit over the years, and we know for all those naysayers and people that don't believe the Astros were punished, they absolutely were punished. Just look at the depth of our club in the minor league system, and losing a first and a second round pick 2 years in a row absolutely just rakes the coals over developing a system to where our top guy, Jacob Melton, isn't even in the top 100. He barely missed it. But what I want to do is I want to show you all the top 10 of the top 30. I'll mention the other 20 players, but I just want to look at the top 10 and kind of go from there. And so we're going to look at this right here. So the top 10 prospects for 2024, according to MLB Pipeline, is Jacob Melton, Luis Baez, Spencer Arrighetti, Bryce Matthews, number 4, Zach DeCenzo. I'll tell you why he's in red here in a second. Joey Loperfido, Zach Cole at number 7, AJ Blueball at number 8, Jose Fleury at number 9, and Colton Gordon at number 10. Now, Colton Gordon being in the top 10 is not a surprise to me. There aren't really any. Maybe if there's a surprise to me, it might be Zach Cole, but I'm saying that because I don't know a ton about Zach Cole. And if there's people that are more tuned into the prospects than I am, they may say, oh, easy, Brett, that guy belongs here. And I'm sure he does. So that was the top 10. Now, let me give you the other 20. Number 11, third round pick, Jake Bloss is, this is the big hard throwing, pitcher, I believe out of, Jake. Did he come? He came out of, I thought he came out of California for whatever reason. He is with the Fayetteville Woodpeckers. Oh, Georgetown. Well, okay. Okay. This is a different pitcher. Okay. This is the big kid, the big right-hander out of Georgetown that can throw smoke. Alonzo Treadwell is the guy out of UCLA. Okay. That's right. Okay, so number 11 is Jake Bloss. Kennedy Acrona is number 12. He is on the 40-man. Alonzo Treadwell, who I think has got a high upside. Rhett Kuba, number 14. Will Wagner, 15. Michael Knorr, 16. 17 through 19 is Andrew Taylor, Juaner Luciano, and Cesar Hernandez. Then 20 through 23, Colin Barber, Miguel Uola, Trey Dombrowski, Cam Fisher. To round up the final 7 spots, Miguel Palma at 24, Alimber Santa 25, Pedro Leon, who has dropped quite a bit to number 26, Ismael Valencia at 27, Camilo Diaz 28, Chase Jaworski 29, and Misael Tamarez number 30. So that is your top 30. Now, why is there a red mark in front of Zach DeCenzo, or why is he in red? Well, Zach DeCenzo had the highest rise in the Astros system. So in 2023, he was not rated. He's all the way to number 5. This 12th round pick produces some of the highest exit velocities in the minors. He slashed 304, 383, 531 in his first pro season. Zach DeCenzo is an absolute animal at the plate, and I promise you that you would not be disappointed if you get to see this guy play. If this guy makes up to AAA, I'd make it to Sugarland. If he starts in Corpus, make the trip to Corpus. Now, the biggest fall, don't know if you remember this guy, the biggest fall is the Beard himself, Justin Dearden. He was the number 9. He was a top 10 pick for, he was ranked 9th overall in the Astros prospect list, and he has fallen completely out of the top 30. His strikeout rate jumped from 24% in 2022 to 30% last year, and he slumped terribly after a midseason hamstring injury. So, for all intents and purposes, what happened to him is what happens to anybody when they have a fall off. Yeah, Cabbage isn't there because he's just not a top 30 guy for us. Cabbage is a guy that had a lot of promise. He's got a bigger swing and miss ratio than Justin Dearden. Now, if Cabbage pans out to be good Cabbage, if he turns out, I don't want to get too cheesy with this, but if he turns out to be the prospect that the Angels thought he would be, then it could be a diamond in the rough situation. But for Cabbage, it's really a low risk, high reward type of situation. It wasn't a blockbuster trade where you had to get him. You didn't lose anything. You're not paying him any money. Hardly anything. So Cabbage is just one of those things. Look, Colt has a great take here, and he says, I think that Loperfido is going to be the greatest out of all of them. There's a very good chance that Joey Loperfido becomes a household name in Houston before it's all said and done. And I was impressed with him when I interviewed him shortly after he was drafted by the Astros. Remember, he brought Duke their first ACC title in their school's history. His makeup, his mentality, his physique, his ability to hit to all sides of the field, his ability to track down balls in the outfield. I really like what he has to offer and what he has to give to the Houston Astros. And so, yeah, Cabbage does strike out more than Singleton. That's correct. And so, yeah, Cabbage's problem is striking out. But look, here's the deal. You're not going to strike out if you do something that I'm going to ask you to do. And if you haven't checked this out, I need you to really think hard about. Actually, you don't even think that hard about it. You just have to go do it. I would be surprised if you don't have one. Have you heard of an Amazon Fire Stick? Or do you have a smart TV? Well, good. You have one of those. Well, I want you to go to Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV, because this is now your destination for sports live games, from highlights, in-depth analysis, and so much more. viewing experiences that are amazing, whether you have the Fire Stick or the Smart TV. And whether it's opening day or opening weekend for baseball or the college baseball tournament, March Madness, you're going to want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos of your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us at Locked On. Eric and I will be on there. Most of your big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels lets you dive into all the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on all the latest in the world of sports, March Madness, NBA, MLB, and lots more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me, we've had it in my house for years. To learn more, visit www.amazon.com/lockedonfiretv. And make sure that you tune in to Locked On Sports Today. That's right. It is the 24/7 streaming channel, all sports all the time, every day, not just Locked On Astros, but all Locked On shows across the country, across the spectrum of various leagues out there. The biggest news, the latest stories, everything you need with Locked On Sports Today, the only 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. That's all sports all the time. And please make sure you follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Apple Podcasts, and make sure that you make us your team every single day. All right, so let's get into it. We talked about the top 30 prospects. We talked about some movement, the biggest fall, the biggest leap, DeCenzo, the biggest leap, Dearden, the biggest fall. And let's really go into, oh, look at this. Shalonda says, I got my Fire Stick from Best Buy. That's how I was able to watch all the sports and teams. Well, look, Shalonda, now you can check out Locked On channels with your Fire Stick. What is up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. Greetings from Venezuela. Greetings to you, sir. Thank you, Freddie, for tuning in. Linda, thank you for tuning in. I see you here. And Mr. Brian, as always, he is here. He says, is it true Barry Bonds asked Yordan Alvarez to teach his children to bat? I have no idea. That's the first I've heard of it. If you do the research, get with me on that. I will let you know. I will look that up. Matthew, I don't know that he's washed, but I understand. I just think Framber Valdez, he says he thinks Framber is washed here in the comment section. But I really think that Framber has hit, maybe he's hit his peak, and look, I could be wrong, and Framber could prove me wrong, and I would totally be willing to eat crow if the Astros hung on to him, signed him, and he got better. But I just think we've seen the best out of Framber, what we've seen when he's at his best. I don't think he's going to get any better than he is. And so I just don't know what the Astros are going to do. I personally would trade him while he still has value, not let him walk, but that's why I'm not the GM. So let's move on to Ronel Blanco. And I know we talked about him last night, but I want to reemphasize a few things because I think Ronel Blanco is going to be an important part of this team in the first part of the year. Why? Because I'm glad you asked. It's simply because he's going to be needed. I mean, in the spring, he's thrown 7 2/3 scoreless innings while striking out 8 batters. He struck out 52 in 52 innings with a 4.50 ERA in 17 games for Houston last year. We talked about this a little bit last night, but to reemphasize what Joe Espada said, he's pounding the zone. Joe likes what he's doing. He's come really far, and he likes what he sees from Ronel Blanco. If your skipper has confidence in you, that is a massive, massive piece of the pie. What did Yogi Berra said? Baseball is 90% mental is mental, and the other half is physical, right? It's a mental game. And we know with guys like Framber who have dealt with the mental side of the game. Heck, we saw our own Kyle Tucker deal with the mental side of the game. You can't tell me that if I was able to sit down and ask him questions about his thought process and what was going on, he did not look like himself. That season took a toll on him. Oh, look at this. Colt said Ronel's doing better than Yamamoto. Well, and look, I'm not trying to prop up a Braves pitcher over an Astros pitcher, but Yamamoto also has to adjust to the American baseball game. He was great in the American Baseball Classic, but that's different than running through major league lineups like multiple times. And so Yamamoto may perform well. He's got nasty spin. He's got nasty movement on his pitches, but he still has to play the American baseball game. And so that is definitely something that we'll have to watch. It'll be interesting to watch how he does because there's a lot of pressure on him think about it, since Ohtani is out. And hey, Grayson Myers, thank you. It says the first time watching live, listen to it on the way to work every morning. Grayson, thank you so much, sir. We truly do appreciate your listenership and your viewership. And yes, and Yamamoto is a Dodger. Did I say Brave? Okay. Anyways, if I said Braves, then I completely misspoke. He is a Dodger. But look, here's the deal. At the end of the day, we got someone like Ronel Blanco, and we kept on and we held on to him, and we have him for a reason because they do see value in what he does and how he throws. I like Ronel Blanco's stuff. I love his confidence, and we didn't get it done. And I'm pretty sure once spring training's over, we get into the season. One of my goals is to get Ronel Blanco on the show. I had communicated with him all off season, and there were some setbacks of him coming to the States before the season started. So that delayed our interview. So sometime during the season, you'll see us sit down with Ronel Blanco, our second Spanish-speaking player from the Dominican. It'll be really fun. I really hope that y'all have seen the interview with Yainer Diaz. If you haven't, I implore you to go see it. It is a very, very good interview. All right. So let's talk about Jose Abreu. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about Jose Abreu tonight is because a lot of people were wondering last year, the Jose Abreu, is that who we're getting? And I think it's important for us to know how our skipper feels about Jose Abreu. And what he said about Jose Abreu is he's looking good. And when he went in, he had a third at bat coming. Espada was going to pull him, and he said, I don't want to be removed. He said, Abreu is at the point to where he wants to play as much as he can play. And so they asked him, how much are you going to have Abreu play first base? And Espada said, my plan is to play him at first. When he needs a day off, we will proceed. We will just check in on him to see how he feels. This guy is veteran enough that he can tell you when he can't play. He can tell you when he doesn't need to play. And I think that's a key aspect of being a massive veteran, a big time veteran, a former MVP. And that's what we can't forget is Jose Abreu. Shalonda says, I love me some JA. I know. I think we all like Jose Abreu. I know it was a rough start last year. And I know we really love what he can bring to the table. Now, Colt, I have to ask you this. You were saying that he tweeted about something. Tell me did he tweet about Yamamoto, or did he tweet about our interview with Yainer Diaz? That's what I want to know. So you have to let me know. But you know what? Before we do that, before we move on, and I've got some other things to talk about, I want to share with y'all about our friends over at Prize Picks because I'm really enjoying this app and I want to talk about them today. Hey, y'all, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks is North America's largest daily fantasy sports platform. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because it's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. And the app has a fun new feature called Demons and Goblins. Ooh, that sounds scary. Demon picks are marked in red. They are scary picks that accelerate your heart rate because you can win big money as in 100 times your money. So if you bet $10, you could win 1,000. Wow. But if you're more cautious, you can always choose a goblin pick marked green because it's designed to keep you in the green. And we know what that means, and allow you to land consistent victories. The payout is less than a demon pick, and your chances of keeping your win streak are going to go through the roof. If you're into the NBA, you can pick more or less on everything from 3-pointers made to turnovers committed. And for spring training baseball, you can pick more than or less than on pitcher strikeouts, first inning runs, and so much more. So download the app today and enter the code LOCKEDONMLB for your first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB, all one word, all lowercase letters, and get the first deposit match of up to $100. Join Prize Picks today. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. And one last thing, just make sure you tune in to Locked On Astros. Remember, we're your team every single day. And if you do that, you want to check out Locked On Sports Today 24/7 on YouTube. It is the only 24/7 sports channel. You'll catch Eric and I when all the big home runs happen, the big wins, the opening day victory. I really think that the Astros are going to come out firing on all cylinders, even against Garrett Cole. It's going to be a nice game. Look, I'm going to be there opening day. Eric's going to be there opening day. I'm going to have a friend there filming content for me. I'm going to be getting a lot of fan interviews. I'm going to be on live Southwest Louisiana radio. That's going to be fun. RP3 and the guys are bringing me on. You'll have to check that out. Got some exciting things. So if you're at opening day, you need to let me know. Hit me up on social media. Let's make sure we connect. Let's meet each other. Let's get a picture. Will I be there Friday? Friday meaning is that oh no. So I'm going opening day, which is Thursday. I do not believe I'm there Friday. Look, if someone gives me tickets, I may show up Friday, but I do not have any plans on being there Friday. And you're right, Snell will not be coming. Okay. So it's a tweet about Yamamoto. Okay. Well, Colt, you kind of got my hopes up. I thought that Colt meant that he tweeted about our Yainer Diaz interview. Tear. I'm very sad about that. I was like, oh, wow, he tweeted about it? No. One of these days, we're going to connect with Mr. Nightingale and get him on because he does show up. Every Tuesday around 12:30, if you're listening to Southwest Louisiana radio, I go on with RP3 and the guys there at ESPN. And you'll just have to go check it out. It's fun on Tuesdays. I just break down what's going on with the Astros. And thank you, Colt. He said, but that interview was goated. Love that. I love that. Thank you, sir, for the compliment. To this day, one of my favorite interviews. I love that kid, Yainer Diaz, and he's going to do great things. So let's just kind of wrap everything up and look ahead. Look what we have going forward. The Astros were rain delayed today, so they did not play. And if you're listening, when I say today, this is Wednesday that I'm speaking, where the game was rained out. And the Houston Astros did not get to throw. They were going to start Seth Martinez, but he did not get to start today. So that's unfortunate, but it's Florida. And if you know anything about Florida, they got the coastal breeze coming through. They've got all kinds of issues with weather, and it'll rain like 30 minutes, 4 or 5 different times throughout the year. I mean, throughout the day. But there was a pitcher in there the other day, and I looked him up because I had not seen his name. He was with the Astros, and he's trying to become the first South African in MLB history to forge a path to the major leagues. His name is Taylor Scott, and he's from Johannesburg, South Africa. And I saw him pitching, and I was like, wow, I've never seen this guy. In 2019, Scott became the first pitcher. Okay, maybe for the Astros, he became the first pitcher to reach the major leagues from South Africa. And since he's played 39 career big league games, with the Mariners, the Orioles, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and the Oakland A's. So there you go. He is basically a non-roster invitee. He's a right-hander. He's got some good stuff. I don't know if y'all saw him pitch, but he does have some good stuff, and I absolutely love seeing that. And so, who are these guys that are going to make it out of spring training that are going to be surprises? Because I remember, and if y'all recall, when I interviewed Corey Julks, how old is he? Thank you for asking. I will go look real quick. I think I just said, didn't I? Maybe I did not. No, I did not. You know what? I will look that up real quick. Taylor Scott, I believe he is 30. I'm not 100% on that. Let's see. Taylor Scott is, drum roll, please, 31. Okay, I was close. So Taylor Scott is 31. He has played a total of 26 games, 27 innings pitched, 21 strikeouts. He has a batting average against of 177. He's only given up 1 home run. There you go. I mean, ground ball outs to average, 1.19, 4 holds, 1 save, 17 hits, 11 earned runs. Very small sample size. But anyways, he would be a bullpen guy, okay? And I completely lost my train of thought when I was going through that. But, who is going to be the surprise addition? Julks and Myers have both shortened up their swing, just like Pena. Julks is hitting better. Espada did say that Julks is going to have to basically earn his position onto the team this year, and he's aware of that. When I interviewed Julks at spring training, a week and a half later, he got put on the 26-man roster. Our conversation, if you recall, was all about him playing in AAA. Or are you going to be a 40-40 guy? Are you going to be a 35-35 guy? We were talking about stats because he had just gone 31-30 with RBIs and home runs. And so I was like, what are you going to do? He's like, man, I was like, I think you can go 40-40. And he's like, I like that. So I think he was surprised when he got put on the 26-man. And you've got someone like Gray Kessinger, who you wonder if is he a placeholder? I don't think he's a mainstay. I think Chaz is going to have a good year. I think a lot of our guys are going to have really good years. And if they do, it's probably going to slow down someone coming up to the major leagues. I think some of these guys, position players that come up like Loper Fido, I think is the most likely to make it up. I think Jacob Melton could be a late season call up, but there's got to be places, there's got to be room for them to come up. You got to realize that if you have the 40-man roster filled up, that means you have to DFA someone or whatever. So I really think that with Yainer Diaz getting the full-time position, with the prospects that are on the heels of those that are in the major leagues, that it creates a great environment of competition. If you've not been to a Sugarland Space Cowboys game, you need to go. It is a phenomenal atmosphere. They do a great job. Garrett Green over there runs the PR for the team. They've got some great giveaways. Hey, the Corpus Christi hooks, they released, I don't know if you've seen the Chaz laying over the wall. We talked about it. They revealed it to Chaz. He hadn't seen it until now. And I've got a friend that's going to be going down there to Corpus to get that bobblehead for me. They've got some cool bobbleheads that they're releasing down there in Corpus. So if you have a chance, go to Corpus. Look, if I make a trip to Corpus, I'll let you know. If you live in the Corpus area, let's meet up. All-Star break. I plan on going to the All-Star game this year, All-Star weekend. Maybe not the game itself. I may not get tickets to the game, but if I can get there as media, I may be at the game. I know that's in Arlington. I also will be headed up to, I'm going to be planning a trip to Omaha to go watch the College World Series this summer too. So if y'all are at any of those places or any games, hit us up, let us know. And we haven't gotten any tickets yet, but we will be getting tickets soon. I'm sure people will be giving us tickets to give away. So be looking for ticket giveaways and we will go from there. You know what? Yes, we still do want Chaz World Series Cats bobblehead. I really think they should have done that last year, and I'm surprised they didn't. But yeah, he definitely deserves a bobblehead for that. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have. This is a solo episode. Eric is out having fun at the Jelly Roll concert, and no, that is not a kolache or a pastry. That is an artist. Dude's got a phenomenal story, and I think it's his first time in Houston or at the rodeo, so that was cool. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to Locked On Astros. This has been great. Y'all have been phenomenal. Thank y'all for the conversation. Thank y'all for stopping by. Y'all are the real MVPs. Please make sure that you check us out. Listen to us on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And as we say here at the show, go Stros. Peace. Woohoo, let's go, baby. Thank you. But I'm Brett. I'm not Eric, but I'm out.